Hello everybody, San here, engineer, MBA, and investor. And in today's video, I want to talk about Caribou's latest data that was published literally this week, at the end of this week. Yesterday, we got data, and I want to talk about all of that in this video. So this PowerPoint here, I think, is going to be the most important PowerPoint we take a look at for this company for a while, because this was published on June 10, like I said yesterday. Analytic initial clinical data for CBO10 for EHA 2022. So initially they did publish data, amazing data back in early May, halfway into the month, May 12, I think it was. Caribou published their first set of data for the first time ever for CBO 010, which is, of course, their programs tackling CAR T cells through their technology called Chardonnay's rDNA technology, proprietary technology using CRISPR. And basically what happened is they published data, it was amazing, but then yesterday we got additional data, right? Because that data was initial data, and then now we get follow-up data basically for all 6 patients, specifically 5 patients that they have now data for a 6-month period, and we have all sorts of reaction. We'll take a look right now. So if I scroll down here to the PowerPoint slide, I won't bore you guys with the initial slide. If you guys are curious, see what's going on there, you can always just look at our previous video with Caribou in our playlist. But so just as a reminder, CBO10 was the first and is the first for allogeneic CAR T cell therapy to achieve 100% complete response rate. So that is as of today. No other company has done that, and we'll take a look at how each patient fared to come up with that value. Previously, if you guys remember, it was 100% overall response rate and 80% complete response. Sort of that remaining patient was partial response, but that remaining patient ended up getting complete response as well. It just took a little bit more time. We'll take a look at that slide, but that's where they stand right now for that metric. However, at the 6 months mark, which is of course an important mark and an important metric to compare this program with maybe other programs such as CRISPR Therapeutics, CTX110, for example, and other companies in this space with the CAR T cells. So fortunately, they got 40% complete response rate. So clearly, this 40% is well below 100%. I think that's a given. I don't think you have to be a rocket scientist to understand that. So 3 patients who previously had complete response rate sort of no longer had a complete response rate, right? And we'll take a look at how, again, that specific slide that I'm talking about for each patient fared and how long it took for them to basically have a progressive disease kick in again. But that's where we are right now. That's really the high level. And unfortunately, if you just look at this may look really, really bad, and it may, erase some of the gains we had in May. And that's exactly what happened to the stock price. The stock is down like 20% at the end of this trading day on Friday, but it was down I think around 34%, which is mind-boggling, right? 34% down for a company that actually is publishing data, their first set of data. And 40% is not that bad. It's just average, it's just maybe a little bit above average, but it's not that bad. It's not like you went from 100% to 0%, or it's not like you had basically, maybe 1 patient out of all those 6 that basically now have complete response. It's still 2 patients, still good. Even 1, in my opinion, would still be great. But of course, it is not that 100% figure. But again, couple of points here, and we'll take a look at it again in the later slide. But they do have a plan to enroll future patients right now. They're in the process of doing that as we speak for dose level 2. We'll take a look at that difference right now. So that is for the future development. So there is a plan of action. So we'll take a look at here the slide I was talking to you guys about. But before we get there, so just as a reminder, dose level 1 is what they were able to do. They did it on 6 patients. All of that is completed. Now they're moving to dose level 2. They're still in phase 1 of the clinical trial, but now they're upping their dosage. Now, basically, if you look at that figure, they're basically doubling their dosage. And I'm not saying that just because you double your dosage, you're going to double your performance. That's not how science works, especially not in biotech. But the only way for you to know that is to test it, right? And that's exactly what they're going to do, which I find really, really interesting. And again, this set of data for the dose level 2 will be getting at the end of this year. So obviously for now, for a couple of weeks and even months, we'll have to be relying on this data we got yesterday. So they're going over the median age and all of that good stuff over each of the participants. But I think this is the most important slide, I think, for this video anyways. So you can clearly see here the 6 patients here, drawn horizontally here, patient number 1 all the way to 6, all having a different subtype. They say how many lines of therapy they had previously to getting this injection, basically from CBO 010. And clearly you can see here the green box circle here, the full green is a complete response. So you can see patient 1 all the way to 4 had complete response rate within the first month. And then you had patient number 6 as well, but patient number 5, which is the one who had partial response, that's what's the light green, ended up getting complete response by the month 2, which in this case is 100% complete response rate, which again is the first in this space, which is amazing. And again, that's with dose level 1, right? We'll take a look why that's important with how other companies are doing it in this space. But just to finish the point here, so you can see here, patient number 1 is basically the patient that had the best data so far. Ironically, it is the first patient, but they're going through basically 11 months, and it is going absolutely perfect. They have not had a progressive disease, and they've even posted a slide there, analyzing through scans their body, basically how the cancer really went away, literally. Can't say it's cured technically, but there is a potential there for that patient. But unfortunately for patient number 2 and 3, you can see the disease progressed by month 6, which is why it's no longer 100% complete response rate by month 6, including patient number 6, who actually developed it by month 3. So it took a little bit faster for patient number 6, and you can see the subtypes is different. So there's no commonality. For example, patient number 4 ended up and is having a complete response rate still after month 6, and they have the same subtype, yet they're doing really well. So there's no commonality there, but clearly here things are looking good for 40% of the patients, right? You can't really include number 5 because number 5 has not gone through the full 6, but things are looking good, but you never know. Could be, again, a progressive disease. It's undetermined for now. So for now, all we know is 2 out of 5 patients are doing well. Unfortunately, you have 3 patients that are kicked off from this race, unfortunately, from this progressive disease, right? So 9 months was the longest measured complete response rate. You have, like I said, 2 out of 5 that are doing really well, 3 that unfortunately had a progressive disease. And yeah, I mean, again, it is a dose level 1, right? And they go over the scans, like I said, the PET, CT scans from the first number 1 patient. Clearly you can see here this little black box here, little black, you can see the organs here covered here, and clearly here it's literally gone by month 9. I don't see it anymore. So it is amazing. I love it. Even that patient alone, even if it's just 1 out of 5 patients, in my opinion, does not warrant a 34% drop in the stock price. But again, who am I to make a judgment on how Wall Street and MBAs value a company that is literally changing the world, right? Who am I to judge that, right? So that's where we are with the data, guys. Look, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below for sure. That's where we are with the data, but let's take a look at maybe, the reactions, right? So that's a little bit more important, right? Because, this is what gives us an idea of how, people that are actually involved in this space are sort of going over this news, right? So let's take a look a little bit here. Let's see if we can find a little bit of some of the usual people that come up in our channel here. For example, our infamous user Biotech2K1. So CRISPR guy Glenn said, Caribou reports positive. Okay, so they basically just posted that data like that. Looks like Umer said, looks like Caribou's poor durability response is dragging genome editing stocks down. Field should recover only when Mr. Harouni puts back goods in. Yeah, Harouni. I don't think Harouni's money is going to change this right now, the market crash. But obviously, this is a macro issue. It has nothing to do with specifically Caribou affecting other stocks. But of course, it does matter. Okay, so we'll take a look at other data here, other reactions. Yeah, so Biotech took it once here. Caribou slide from yesterday says, iPSC beyond natural killer cells. I wish it could already convert all current CAR T cells programs to iPSC, but it's a step in the right direction. So we know that Caribou has always had plans to move into this space, right? beyond natural killer cells, but obviously they're not going to convert their current programs like that. I think there's a lot more to do even with CBO10. I mean, it's increasing dose level 2, and also maybe doing a dose number 2, right? So far we talked about one dose, right? You inject initially, you wait, right? What if you do another dose, right? Which is what CRISPR Therapeutics actually are covering, right? So this is going to be important here. So before I jump into this image here from Biotech 2K1, but let's see why Wei Zhao here, in light of Caribou's CBO10 initial response is 6 out of 6. Although allo CAR-T still needs to solve the OR issues, adding PD-1 knockout to all auto anti-CD19 CAR-T therapies seems to be more urgent and viable short-term path to treat B-cell and HL patients. Agree? So that's an interesting remark. So they're not really talking about the dose level here. They're talking about another type of alternative here. Caribou is the best breed for allo CAR-T cell program. With this data, they have superior overall response rate and complete response above everyone else. Even if they even have better durability, as many companies like DTIL can't even get past 3 months, let alone 6 months. So like I said, it's better than the average. So I'm quite shocked the stock was hit that hard. But clearly here, they're still facing the issue of having long-term durability, just like other companies, but they're basically having it a lot less worse than other companies, which in my opinion is a win, right? That's the only comparison you can have, right? I mean, perfection is 100% for sure, but you can't get perfection in life, right? It is what it is. So we'll take a look at this image here. Let's see. I don't know if you guys can catch that, but let's see if I can maybe, yeah, let's do something like that. So Caribou here, you see, these are the 4 companies in this space here that Biotech 2K1 sort of draw on here. And you can see Caribou here, you see Allo here, and you see CRISPR Therapeutics here. I'm going to ignore DTIL here, but Caribou 100% complete response, Allo at 50%, CRISPR Therapeutics at 38%, which was the weaker out of all these companies. CRISPR, however, got 40% out of the 6 marks, yet they are on their level 4 dosage. So they upped their dosage since then. Obviously, it's been a while since CTX110 has been out. They've been testing, reiterating, improving, and getting this type of data that you're seeing in front of the screen. In contrast, you see Caribou's at dose level 1, but they're still having 40% 6 months. So there's a lot of positivity here, though with dose level 2. I'm staying optimist. I think there's a lot of promises here. I think obviously, eventually they will have to deliver for sure, but clearly here you can see the millions of cells here, how minor it is compared to CRISPR Therapeutics, 600 million, which is the most here. But can you conclude that more cells will lead to that? Obviously, that's where the technology kicks in. That's where Sheldon's DNA has to deliver on. So, and allo here, in my opinion, is not really relevant. I mean, you have 5 deaths. I mean, you have 50% complete response rate after 6 months is still good, but they're not doing CRISPR. They're doing it another type of technology there that I'm not really covering, and I'm not versatile on. All I know is they're in this allo CAR-T space. But again, the best data for initial is CRISPR Therapeutics. Caribou Biosciences. CRISPR Therapeutics is hanging on. They actually just released the data. I'm going to cover it in the future video here. But clearly things are looking good for Caribou in terms of data. Unfortunately, the stock is not looking good. Got hit really, really hard. And it's the name of the business, guys. Look at this, guys. Back in May, it jumped like literally 50% almost. I think it was, almost 50%. And now since its peak, it's now back down to like 28 to 30%, right? Which is absolutely mind-boggling, but it's the name of the game. Who knows what, these MBAs and professional business student ties know about science. All we know is that we covered it in this channel. We looked at each of the patients' response to the CBO010. We looked at the data, we looked at the science, and I let you guys to make your own formed opinion and then build your own type of decision, whether you want to buy more, sell more. It's not financial advice. It's just education information for free. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Thank you so much for watching, guys. And like this video if you found value, subscribe if you're not, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.